Imagine a village midwife scaring a king out of his castle. In 1591, soldiers grabbed Agnes Sampson from her bed, shaved her head, and tortured her until she confessed that a single spell nearly sank the royal ship. Tonight, on Secret Spells and Shadows, we dive into the horror story of Agnes Sampson, the witch in chains, a healer who stood against royal terror in 1591 and paid with her own life. I am Victoria Unical, artist and media mogul by day and modern witch exorcista by night. Every Thursday, we uncover a true tale proving the world is crueler than fiction. If you are ready, hit like, subscribe, and let's begin. Let's step into a howling, stormy January of 1591 at Holyrood Palace, where a trusted midwife's confession summoned King James' deepest fear. It was the last deep freeze of the 16th century. In a cold hall of Holyrood Palace, King James VI sat awake, candles shaking in the draught. His investigators laid a parchment on the table. Agnes Sampson, a village midwife, had confessed that she met the devil in North Berwick Kirkyard. She called up winds that almost smashed the king's bridal ship and planned his death. James read the lines twice. His hand shook. He ordered fresh chains. A woman trusted with childbirth had become the nightmare of a king. Let's rewind. Agnes was born around 1540 on the rough coast of Scotland. Neighbors called her the wise wife of Keith. She knew nettle tea reduced fevers, many natural heart remedies, and set broken bones. Farmers paid in eggs and oatcakes. The wealthy left silver coins and rode off clutching little bags of medicine. For 30 quiet years, no elder or sheriff questioned her craft because babies lived and cats healed under her care. Trouble rode the sea in 1589. James sailed to Denmark to fetch his young bride, and halfway home, 3 violent storms slapped the convoy. Masts snapped, powder soaked, sailors prayed. Danish judges blamed witchcraft and burned a coven in Copenhagen. James carried that fear back to Scotland like hidden ballast. By fall of 1590, rumors hissed along the coastline. People said witches met at midnight in the roofless kirk at North Berwick, sang psalms backward, and kissed the devil's hand. The first arrest was Guileless Duncan, a 17-year-old maid who played a penny whistle and healed her master's gout with herbs. Constables tied her thumbs to her toes and rolled her until her joints popped. In pain, she named 77 others. Agnes's name was on the list. Warrants spread faster than winter fog. On Halloween night, soldiers reached Keith. Agnes opened her door with a lantern. They shaved her head right there, looking for a witch's mark, and pointed to a brown mole behind her ear. They chained her ankles and dragged her 40 miles to Edinburgh. Inside, iron rings crushed her legs, and the bridle with 4 spikes pinned her tongue so she could not pray. Guards shook her awake every hour. 4 nights she said nothing. On the 5th night, ropes looped around her wrists and ankles. A crank turned, shoulders cracked, and blood ran. Agnes screamed that the devil stood behind the judge and would strangle her if she stayed silent. Scribes leaned close. How did she raise storms? Half fainting, she set the coven, nailed a dead cat to sailcloth, and cut off its paws. They tied the bundle to a rope and dragged it through the surf 3 times, chanted, "Ill wind blows, send our foe below." She repeated the word in Latin. When James read the spell, hot wax dripped from his candle to the floor. The king demanded to face her. Guards dragged the chained Agnes over icy stones to Hollywood. She knelt on the flagstones, hair in clumps. Calm now, she told James secrets from his wedding night. The small scar high on his thigh, the lace on Anne's shift, the private joke he whispered when the candle went out. James staggered back and called the tale over true. Fear closed on him like frost. At sunrise on January 27, 1591, Agnes walked up Castle Hill. Snow hissed on the grills. A rope tightened around her throat. When her body sagged, the hangman pushed it into the fire. Witnesses said the flames roared and her chains fell to the ground. The smell of burnt hair drifted over Edinburgh all day. Years passed, but James never slept easy. In 1630, he felt a frozen hand squeeze his throat before he fainted. Palace guards swore they heard slow, barefoot steps outside his old chamber, iron links tapping the stone. Agnes burned to ash, but her story outlived crowns and parliaments. Even today, each winter gust that rattles the town is said to carry her name, whispered once, then lost to the dark sea she was accused of stirring. Agnes Sampson's death was brutal, but common. Fear of witches kept courts busy for another century. Giles Duncan, 1591. The teen whose confession sparked the North Berwick trials. She survived torture but vanished from records. Anne Coldings, 1590, dubbed Mother of the Devil in Denmark, tortured for raising storms against King James' convoy. She was burned in Copenhagen months before Agnes' arrest. Janet Horne, 1727, the last woman executed for witchcraft in Scotland. Locals claimed she turned her daughter into a pony and shot her with iron. Janet was tarred and burned in Dartmouth. King James' obsession faded, but the law he signed, Scotland's Witchcraft Act of 1563, stayed alive until 1736. By then, more than 2,000 Scots had faced trial. Most were women with healing hands and unwanted knowledge. History fears anyone who mixes faith, folklore, and power. The terror is in how quickly frightened crowds trade reason for a road. Have you ever heard footsteps where no one should walk? Did you follow or lock the door? Tell me in the comments. Subscribe, my darlings, and come back next Thursday for another tale on secret spells and shadows. Until then, stay safe, stay sharp, and never believe every wind is just the weather. Mwah.